I've been amazed at how the different dates that were associated with the end time prophecies keep lining up with the timing events that are unfolding, that are leading up to July 19th. It is awesome how they have fit into things like the high days and with other prophecies. But what was revealed to me last night concerning how this is unfolding is the most incredible match yet. The odds of this all lining up the way that it is are so incredibly impossible that it is proof in itself that what I have been given to speak is true concerning the timing of our Messiah's return. All prophecy is sealed until our Elohiym reveals it, and he reveals it in his perfect timing. He makes some prophecies and parables readily available to those whom he calls, but others are sealed until it is time for him to reveal them. Ezekiel's prophecy of a third and a third and a third holds the secret holds a secret concerning the 5 months of torment that is associated with the fifth trumpet. Our Elohiym revealed that the 5 months of torment began on November 9th of 2011, but that the time of this affliction was being held back. He hasn't revealed how long it was being held back for until now. This lines up with the last day of the torment landing on the memorial of the Exodus out of Egypt, which is the first day of the Feast of Unleavened Bread. He showed that this time was divided into thirds, and the time of torment, and the second third came to an end yesterday, which was February 17th on man's pagan calendar. This was the 24th day of the 11th month on our Elohiym's calendar, and his messenger reported back to him that the whole earth is at rest. I've been speaking on this in other videos. Yesterday began the final third, or the final 50 days of the 5 months of torment. He has made it clear through all of the dates that he has been giving that they are waypoints that all point to and testify to July 19th. It has not been about specific events happening on the dates that he has given to us, because he says a wicked and perverse people require signs like this, like nuclear bombs going off or huge earthquakes or something like this. He has sought after those whom his word was good enough proof. No, that's the reason why his word was given, to prove that he has sent me, and he's wanted that to be proof enough. But for most of you it has not been. He has been looking for those who would believe him and act on that belief by doing what he said to do. We should marvel at how he had things recorded over 3,000 years ago that are lining up perfectly with what he has sent his prophet to speak. And the latest match in prophecy that I'm going to speak about today is the most incredible yet. At least I think it is. It blew my mind when he revealed it to me last night. In Ezekiel chapter 5, he gave the prophecy of a third of and a third and a third that has much prophetic relevance to what is unfolding. Most all, if not all, prophecy has dual applications, and often a third prophetic application even. The prophecies in Ezekiel are often symbolic of events and are not to unfold in literal ways as they read. They are hidden prophecies with prophetic meaning. This is true with much of prophecy, including the book of Revelation, which is full of symbolism. In chapter 20, he prophesies about Yahweh bringing forth the remnant in the last days, and he is referring to a second Exodus that would come at the time of the end. In verse 35, he says, "And I will bring you into the wilderness of the people, and there will I plead with you face to face." This wilderness that he is referring to is the 5 months of torment that was prophesied by Yeshua to be shortened. Verse 36, "Like I pleaded with your fathers in the wilderness of the land of Egypt, so will I plead with you, saith Yahweh Elohim. And I will cause you to pass under the rod, and I will bring you into the bond of the covenant, and I will purge out from among you the rebels and them that transgress against me. I will bring them forth out of the country where they sojourn, and they will not enter into the land of Israel. And you will know that I am Yahweh." When the words pass under are used with the word rod, it is referring to measuring off a 10th part. The measuring rod confirms this. What they did back then was they separated off every 10th animal that passed under the rod for a tithe. There was a person that would count every 10th animal with the rod, and they would set it apart. We read this in Leviticus 27 is the proof of this, verse 32. And concerning the tithe of the herd or of the flock, whatsoever passes under the rod, the tenth will be holy to Yahweh. One thing about Scripture is it testifies to itself. One would automatically think that this verse in Ezekiel is referring to he is going to pull out 10% from the third that is scattered, but it does not say this. It certainly is a possibility of this as well, as far as being a dual prophecy, but we will have to wait and see if this is how it unfolds. One thing that I will show you today is the phrase passing under the rod is referring to a reduction of the time of torment. And I will show you how the Scriptures testifies to this. There are two possibilities for the reduction of time, and one is that it is referring to 10% of the entire 150 days, which would be 15 days. But the problem with this is that it has already been revealed that the time in question is the last 1/3 of the 150 days. This is where it gets really exciting. A tithe, or 10% of 50 days, is 5 days. If we take 5 days away from the first day of unleavened bread, which is the memorial of the Exodus, we land on the 10th day of the first month. The first day of the feast is always on the 15th day of the first month. For those of you who know about our Elohiym's appointed times, you know that the 10th day of the first month is very significant. It is the day that we are commanded to separate out the Passover lamb or goat. It is the day that Yeshua rode into Jerusalem on the colt of the ass. I think that it is amazing that our Elohiym will set apart those who have his mark in their foreheads from this time of torment on this special day. If you think that this can be another coincidence, you have quite the imagination. What are the odds of all of these things lining up the way that they are? Especially when you consider them lining up like they do with such significant events like the day that the Passover lamb or goat is set aside and the memorial of the Exodus. This is incredible. And actually just the fact that it lines up with this is the proof in Scripture that this 5 months is being shortened this way. So instead of 5 months of torment, the 5 months are symbolic of 5 days. I have often wondered how anyone could endure 5 months or even 50 days of torment that is likened to being stung by a scorpion. I know a man who was stung by a scorpion, and this man was a pretty tough man, and this sting humbled him to where he was in pretty bad shape. Plus, I have been trying to reconcile how 50 days can fit into this, where those affected cannot even die during this time. It just did not fit because it was not meant to fit. And like with all things, the truth is beautiful when it is given because it does fit. Does this mean that the other calamity associated with the other trumpets will not intensify before then? No, it does not mean this at all. Everything will be let loose in our Elohiym's perfect timing. He will hold everything back until it needs to be let loose. He will hold it back until he cannot hold it back any longer and still accomplish that which he is sending it to accomplish. He is revealing this today to show how he has this all timed out perfectly, all to testify to the work that he sent forth. It is also important to understand that the bulk of the destruction that is prophesied to happen on the last great day when the seventh trumpet sounds and the 7 vials of his wrath are poured out on the inhabitants of the earth who do not want to bear his name. There is much that is recorded that will happen on this great and terrible day of Yahweh. There are many scriptures that say in one day he will accomplish this or he'll accomplish that. It'll be a pretty action-packed day with those 7 vials being poured out. Yet there will still be an increase of events that will lead up to this day, including this 5 days of torment and war and natural disasters and plagues and the second Exodus. I just think that it is exciting that he has this all timed out perfectly and it is all in his control, and that when the dust settles, his family will be increased through it. I'm just thankful that he is merciful enough to hold it all back like he has and he is doing. And I'm so thankful that he is going to be able to accomplish what he's setting out to accomplish in 5 days of torment versus 150 days. You should marvel at this. It would be just incredible to go through 150 days of torment that's likened to a scorpion stinging you. In any case, the angel still reported back yesterday that the earth is at rest, and it shows there's a dual reference to the silence in heaven of a space of about half an hour. The bottom line is, most of you will not obey him without being humbled by great affliction, and this is sad. And it is even sadder that most of you still will not hearken to his perfect instructions even after the affliction is upon you. Most of you will blaspheme him instead of acknowledging that you have rejected that which he created you to become. For those of you who want to know what dates these are on Satan's pagan calendar that he gave to man, the 10th day of the first month is on April 2nd, according to the dates that he has given. He is suggesting that you are found bearing his mark in your forehead before then.